Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 12 of season 6 of FormulaXbox. It's KGibbsGP here as usual, and today we're at the Hockenheimring in Germany for what should be an intriguing battle between our championship contenders. The championship race has of course closed up, and it's getting very, very tasty at the top as we head into the midway stage of the championship and get into the heart of the European season. So it's a technical track, Hockenheim, particularly in the final sector, given that stadium section, and it's all about getting a good flow through the corners and making sure that you keep the momentum up, particularly in the last two corners, and it's where you can really make up plenty of time. And speaking of making up plenty of time, it was Sinan in the Renault who set the fastest time in qualifying. Pole position for him with a 1:14.459. His time set on the super soft compound of tyres. And fascinatingly, we saw a great split of strategies in qualifying, with half the grid opting to go for the super soft and go for the glory run in Crawley, the other half opting for the soft tyre. And it was RBZ who came second in qualifying on the soft tyre. He's the furthest forward of those soft tyre runners, and only 1,000th of a second back in third. Just unable to stop RBZ from getting the front row was Casey on the super soft. But as we cross across to the grid now, we've got 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go. It seems like a decent start from Sinan and RBZ. Casey gets away very much the same as the lead 2 as they head through turn 1. Now RBZ goes a little bit wide but retains P2. So it's Sinan retaining P1, RBZ second, and Casey in the Toro Rosso in third. However, that could all change now as we head through turn 4 and begin the long turn 5, which is Slipstream City. And for the guys in second and third place, this could be an opportunity, as we see RBZ closing on the Renault. Jinx to the inside and late on the brakes. Sinan's late on the brakes as well. RBZ could run him out of road here on the exit, but no, the Renault hangs in there and retains P1. Excellent driving from Sinan. They're determined to hold on to P1, and he holds off RBZ for the moment. As we look at a replay now of the start from a bit further back with prototypbudgie, was all action in behind, as we see KGibbs and Suicidal Glove avoiding action there, as I think it was Drastic Midget and another car. It's definitely sideways there. You see KGibbs gets a poor start. Aquas goes down the inside there. It's very tight at turn 1. We've got Danny off, we've got Insignia off, and of course Drastic Midget, who we noticed just a few moments ago, sideways at turn 1. So those guys' races are compromised very early on, and they have plenty of work to do now as they look to get through the pack. As you can see, there's lots of wheel spin, particularly from Maestro in the Williams. He started P4, but he's down to P7 by turn 1. And yes, Drastic Midget's understeered into the side of the Sauber, but the Sauber just didn't leave him a lot of space there by the looks of things at turn 1. It's always a pinch point, and there was an air of inevitability about that one, to be fair, as everyone went for the apex. And now cutting back to the live action, Maestro just put a move there on the Toro Rosso of Luke, and we see Sam wants a piece of the action now as they're all battling for P4, 5 and 6. Sam got very, very close to the back of the Toro Rosso there, and Luke goes defensive now, and here comes Worthy, wants a piece of the action too. He's going down the inside of the Ferrari. It's a 4-way battle for P4 as Luke edges briefly ahead of the Williams until the Williams takes that position right back with better traction out of the hairpin at turn 6. Through turn 7 they go. Everyone looking to see if they can make a move or not. Sam going to the outside. That's ambitious, and to no avail on this occasion for Sam. But Maestro seems to be holding up a little bit of a train at the moment. Both Maestro and Luke starting on the soft compound tyres. And speaking of soft compound tyres, here is our soft tyre runner leader, as we see RBZ battling now with Sinan. He's going to look to the inside into 2, but thought better of it. And Sinan goes wide. That's going to allow RBZ through. And crucially, he was behind the Renault at the DRS detection point, I believe. So he may well have the DRS. No, he was actually behind him. So Sinan gets the DRS, but I think he was too far back to make anything work there. As we see, it gets very, very tight at turn 6 there. Sam down the inside of Luke takes that place, and for Sam that's crucial because Luke is of course running the soft compound of tyres, Sam on the super soft compound, so he has to make this stint work. Now the reason a lot of the guys went for the soft tyre for the first stint is just that the super soft is not durable enough here, and you really can't extend your first stint very far at all if you start on that tyre. So Luke and the likes of RBZ have gone for that soft tyre strategy, and that could play dividend towards the end of the race. They may even be able to make one less stop than all of the other guys out there. As we see Kev now in P14 goes down the inside of Aquas and makes that move stick, so up into 14th for Kev. Going to be hoping to bag some points today, particularly as it seems to be very claustrophobic and the battle's up ahead. You never know what could happen, so it's about being in it to win some points at least. and Kev seems to be running pretty well at the moment. And there comes Aquas. I wondered what was going to happen there, and through goes Drastic Midget as well, recovering from his lap 1 incident. So that's Kev, was in P14, now down in P16 with some work to do, but it looks like a fun battle to be had between the Manor, the Mercedes and the Force India, as the Manor of Aquas goes wide and Drastic Midget gets collected there. He just went for the gap, but the gap disappeared, and that's Drastic Midget again sideways in this race, as we're going to see a replay of it now from the perspective of the Mercedes man. So he gets a good run on Aquas coming out of turn 6 through turn 7, keeps that momentum up, and Aquas is a long way down the road, but of course he locks up and gets on the grass in the braking zone, and just, Drastic Midget understeered into the side of him, got collected, and is facing the wrong way for the second time in 4 laps. As we see now, KGibbsGP in P6 has made up some good ground on what was a poor qualifying for him, but he's got Knorr behind him. He's got another car behind Knorr as well. I think it's the Ferrari of Hickey, as Knorr goes to the inside at turn 6. He's later on the brakes as well than the Red Bull. K-Gibbs jinks out of the corner because he can't turn in because Knorr's there, and hello, there's the Ferrari of Hickey, wants a piece of the action as well, as Hickey and K-Gibbs are going to go side by side through turn 7, and K-Gibbs retains the position for now at least, but he's locked up, and that's going to give Hickey the momentum out of the corner. Easy does it for Hickey and takes P7. K-Gibbs just got a little bit too late on the brakes there, and it looks like there's going to be a battle between Knorr and Hickey, and maybe even K-Gibbs if he can keep up with these two up ahead. Sam bails into the pit lane, gets rid of those super soft tyres on lap 6. I said the stint length wouldn't be very long on those particular tyres. So even though they match his Ferrari very, very nicely, he's going to ditch the red striped tyres, and he's actually going to put another set of the super softs on. I thought maybe he'd be switching to a set of soft or even medium compound tyres there to get the longevity of stint length after that earlier, of that shorter stint at the start of the race, but no, he's going for an aggressive strategy here, Sam. As we tune in once again to the battle between Hickey and Knorr, and K-Gibbs has managed to keep up with them, and Knorr's pace seems to have dropped off a cliff somewhat, even though he's on the medium compound tyres, so he seems to be crying enough already in terms of his rubber, and seems to be holding up quite a train at the moment. Danny and co are actually catching as well behind, so this is going to be an even bigger battle soon, as these guys are going at hammer and tongs at the moment. Hickey's trying to find a way through, as this is really compromising his race, as Knorr just doesn't have the pace at the moment on these guys. And so a bit later on the lap now, it's Slipstream City as they head towards turn 6. Knorr on the inside, Hickey on the outside. K-Gibbs with a box office view of this particular battle. He runs wide though. That's going to give Danny the opportunity up the inside, and there we see the Force India has a little look there, but the Red Bull gets the better traction off of the corner. And so it's the Force India versus the Red Bull. It's the Ferrari versus the Renault as they head towards turn 8. And Danny's on the outside of K-Gibbs. K-Gibbs holds his ground at the moment. They touch though, they make contact. K-Gibbs and Danny on his F1 debut has ultimately, his FormulaXbox debut I should say, has ultimately paid a bit of a price there, and the two of them just came together. I think K-Gibbs wasn't really expecting Danny to keep his nose in, and likewise Danny expected a little bit more space from the Red Bull. Racing incident in my eyes, but we'll see what the stewards have to say about that, as we see more side pod contact there, as prototypbudgie I should say, makes contact there and spins round, so that's a couple of places lost for him. But in comes our race leader, RBZ, after taking the lead early on from Sinan. He dives into the pit lane. It'll be interesting to see on lap 10 what set of tyres he decides to put on the car. He's got 4 extra laps of this race covered by his first stint versus what a lot of the super soft runners managed, and it's some set of medium tyres. So he's going for a long middle stint, and this could signify a 2-stop for RBZ. He could quite comfortably manage a set of soft tyres, a set of medium tyres, and potentially another set of soft tyres to finish the race with, or maybe even super soft, depending on how far he can make that set of mediums go. As we see the Lost Warrior in P6 and Sam on his aggressive strategy in P7. He's surely going to have the run on the Sauber now. Gets a little bit of front wing damage there as he gets a little bit too close to the back of the Sauber, but gets the position regardless and is up into P6. So Sam has really got to get the hammer down now if he's going to make this aggressive strategy work. It's going to be at least a 3-stop for Sam, and that's if he can make a set of medium tyres go a long, long way in the final stint. He may even have to make another stop beyond that. So let's wait and see what happens. The Lost Warrior is going to have DRS on the Ferrari though, so all of Sam's good work just a few moments ago could be undone once again. He covers the inside, but Lost Warrior still finds a position on the inside to take for turn 6. The two of them side by side. Surely Lost Warrior is going to run Sam out of road. No, he gives him some space, and that's allowed Sam a good traction opportunity as they head up towards turn 7 side by side, as Sam just about has enough road to use there. He's going to have the inside for 8. Lost Warrior backs out of it, knows when he's beaten on that one, but he's going to try it around the outside now as they head through turn 10. Not quite. this time for the Lost Warrior, but Sam is absorbing a lot of pressure now. It's been almost a lap since he's been ahead of the Sauber, but he hasn't had much time to rest. As we see, Aqua's getting a big tank slap and a big accident there for Aqua's. That's a huge crash at turn 1, and that could well be a safety car, as that's just on the pit lane exit as well. But enough talk about safety cars for now. We've got Sam, Danny and KGibbs all battling. Actually, it's Hickey in there. In fact, KGibbs is a little bit further up the road. As we see the two Ferraris and the Force India battling it out. Danny cuts Hickey off there in the braking zone. Verstappen-esque there from Danny. Hickey was left with nowhere to go after the Force India cut across in the braking zone. We're going to see a replay of this now. So Sam was absorbing plenty of pressure from the Lost Warrior just a few moments ago, and suddenly Danny and Hickey are all over him. Sam, of course, has made a pit stop. He's gone onto the soft compound of tyres, so definitely a 3-stop for him. And yeah, Hickey goes to the inside. Danny cuts across him in the braking zone, and Hickey's the one that gets a penalty for that. So the stewards will have a bit more work to do on that one, I think, as they try and unravel that particular mess. Turn 6 is a bit of an action area though, so I imagine the stewards probably expected to have a few Turn 6 related incidents to discuss after the race. As we see now Luke battling out with the Lost Warrior, who's having a good drive in the Sauber so far. We've seen him battling with the likes of Sam so far, but now Luke goes down the inside, both of them on the medium compound tyres, and Luke takes the place. No, does he? No, here comes Lost Warrior. He wants to not relinquish this position as they head through turn 7 now, but Luke's going to have the inside for 8, as we said a few moments ago when Sam was battling the Lost Warrior, and he's going to try exactly the same thing he did against Sam as Luke goes a bit deep, but covers the position off well, and once again the Lost Warrior can't make the move around the outside of turn 10 as they head now through turn 11, the high speed turn 11 into the stadium section. Luke retains the place, and there's just nowhere to pass in sector 3, so that should be the Toro Rosso up into that place for definite and such on that one. As we cut to the battle now between KGibbs and Suicidal Glove, and the Haas has made the move for P6. Haas on soft compound tyres and newer soft tyres, at that having just emerged from the pit lane. As we see Danny passing Sam now as well. So after his little battle with Hickey, he's now dispatched Sam, and that's Danny, who's having another good drive on his debut in plenty of incidents and action so far, but ultimately driving very, very well. As we see up ahead, a bit of contact there. In fact, we've got KGibbs sideways, we've got Danny sideways, and they've both collected the Haas of Suicidal Glove. Disaster there for those three. Sam says, thank you very much, I'll take P5. A big win for Sam there, but what happened between these three? We're going to see a replay now from KGibbs' perspective. So Danny gets a better run out of turn 6, as we see KGibbs looking in his mirrors. Danny goes to the outside, then suddenly to the inside. KGibbs has no time to react, gets hit, and Suicidal Glove just gets taken out as the collateral damage there. So it's bad news for Haas. I'm sure Suicidal Glove is going to be absolutely fuming in that crash helmet, as he was just the innocent bystander that got collected there, but nothing that either KGibbs or Danny could do at that point, because they were totally out of control after their collision. So yet more work for the stewards to take a look at a bit later on. And the second time in this race that the Force India and the Red Bull have collided, and just moments after, a few laps after that incident, KGibbs is losing places as Casey and Lost Warrior both pass him there, and he's now down into P9. So it's all going wrong after he was running as high as P3 just a bit earlier on in this race, as the pit stops shake their way out. As we see Sam now running P5, Danny running P6. Swap of positions there once again as Sam loses out to Danny for the second time in this race, in fact, as Danny moves up another place, and it'll be interesting to see if he can go to the end now on those medium compound tyres. As we see Luke emerge from the pit lane on lap 22 on a set of softs, so that's going to be a Toro Rosso that's going to the end of the race, as he now drops to P8, but on a pretty good strategy, and you'd imagine the guys ahead will have to make another stop in this race before the end, as we've got a virtual safety car deployed now. That may have not worked out to Luke's advantage, but by the looks of things, it's come in before Casey or the Lost Warrior have had a chance to dive into the pit lane. So not too much loss there for Luke as they continue their battle. Lap 23 now, and Luke's got the DRS, but so's Lost Warrior on Casey Legend. We've got Drastic Midget up ahead, who's actually disconnected and is being as an AI car at the moment and being lapped. As meanwhile, Luke's made the move on the Lost Warrior. There's so much to watch here, you can hardly keep track. As the Toro Rossos now run line astern, P6 and P7. Sam in P5 is just ahead of the both of them. This is now going to be a three-way scrap between three of the title contenders, as Casey gets a little bit sideways there. Luke goes around the outside of Casey at the Sachs curve, so that's superb driving there from Luke around the outside of Casey, who got it all out of shape. Sam bails out of the battle into the pit lane, and that's now going to be Luke up into P5. That's going to be Casey in P6 as well, and they're going to be trying to hunt down Danny, who's in P4. So Sam's just emerged from the pit lane. He's got KGibbs behind him. KGibbs has gone for the move down the inside, and both of them have run wide there. I think it was less a move from KGibbs and more just a late break that ended up being nearly an accident that he had to bail out of. So no harm done to Sam's car, clearly no damage, as he's now battling with Casey on lap 27. This is a battle for position in this race, with no more pit stops to be had, and Sam gets the move done, so he's now up into P7 with Casey in 8th. And it'll be interesting to see whether Danny's going to stretch those tyres towards the end. As we see now, it's Casey going around the outside of Sam. They continue their little dice, and we've got a couple of cars who are catching these two as well. It looks like we've got a Sauber behind them, maybe even KGibbs as well, who's close to this battle. As we see Casey there getting very close to the back of the Ferrari and then dropping back, and Sam going deep into the corner. That's surely going to allow the Toro Rosso through, and yes it does. It goes around the outside at turn 10. So that's Casey now up in the P6, and it is indeed the Lost Warrior who is catching them. But behind KGibbs now battling out with Worthy, who's on the super soft compounded tyres. He's been catching the Red Bull for quite a few laps now and makes the move stick. KGibbs has just got to hope now that Worthy's tyres actually die, because he's not going to have any chance to keep up with the Mercedes if those super soft tyres hold themselves together on a tyre that's 2 steps harder than the super softs. But in any case, we've got a battle for second and a battle for third now, as Nor and Luke go at it for P2. And back now with the battle for P9 as KGibbs goes back down the inside of Worthy. I said it was going to be a matter of tyres, and it looks like the Mercedes has run out of rubber in these closing stages. So that's P9 for KGibbs, and Hickey will be wanting a piece of the action as well, who was just behind Worthy. But it's RBZ who's controlled the race after passing Sinan early on and takes another race victory in Season 6. So Haas will be absolutely delighted with that one. He's converted P2 into victory, and ultimately a comfortable drive after taking the lead early on. And we see now Hickey down the inside of KGibbs, so KGibbs going to be devastated losing out on P8 this late in the race. Can he have a go at the Ferrari? No, it doesn't seem like it, and Worthy there had a puncture at the end, so an absolutely frantic finish with so many different strategies playing the way out throughout that race. Worthy just coming up short there as his tyres died off at the end, but it was RBZ in P1, Nor in P2 with an excellent result for Renault. It looked like it was going to be Sinan taking home the big points after his pole position, but he ultimately dropped to 4th, and it was Luke who battled his way up to 3rd after starting on those soft compound tyres. And ultimately that proved to be the best strategy, obviously, with 1st and 3rd both starting on the soft compound and really making that work. Nor obviously started from P14 as well, so he's got to be driver of the day for that one after battling his way through and making up plenty of positions in the race. So as far as the championship goes, well, we've got our lead protagonists all having fairly decent days, if not spectacular, for the likes of Luke, Casey and Sam. RBZ taking home the big haul of 25 points, and that will be a big statement in the championship campaign. But thank you very much for watching round 12, guys. We'll be back next time in Spa in Belgium to see how that one shakes out. No doubt the weather will intervene on that one, given that Spa is historically a little bit damp in its summertime. So please leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and please leave a like if you've enjoyed. And until next time, folks, I shall see you very soon. Goodbye.